Hello children, let's start our maths class. We have just started with our exercise 1.2 and we have done few sums from exercise 3.12. Yes children, we have covered 3 sums and I have given you sum number 4 as homework. And now today we are going to continue with the remaining sums. I hope you are working out all your sums. So do it children, you have lot of time. So use your time wisely, follow up a timetable. So you have to make a timetable. You just give proper timings for study work, proper time for homeworks and also for your playing. Yes, that's important. You have to be active also. So just spend your time wisely. Do not just waste your time. So you have already enjoyed a lot. Yes, children. So 4 months, around 4 to 5 months you have enjoyed. So now this is a time to work hard. Let's start with sum number 5. So take down your classwork, write down today's date, write down question number 5, write down the question. What is the question given there? Yes. A pole has to be erected at a point on the boundary of a circular ground of diameter 20 meter in such a way that the difference of its distances from two diametrically opposite fixed gates P and Q on the boundary is 4 meter. Is it possible to do so? If answer is yes, at what distance from the two gates should the pole be erected? So this is a question. So you write down the question. I'll just explain to you what is there in the question and what are we going to do in this sum. So write neatly. You have to present your classworks and your homeworks neatly. Presentation matters. It's very, very important. Presentation shows that it shows your affection towards particular subject. If you like your subject, the presentation shows, okay, the person likes that particular subject. So with the presentation itself, we come to know, yes, some are presenting very neatly, so that shows, of course, you love your maths subject. And some presentation shows, yes, I can guess with your presentation. So just present it neatly. Every subject is equally important. So you have to give equal importance to all the subjects. Let's start with sum number 5. Okay, I hope you have taken the question. Shall we go with the statement, children? Before we go to the statement, you have to draw a figure, children. I hope you have the stencils with you, the pro circles with you. You can use your pro circles or you can use your compass for drawing a circle. Here, we are going to deal with a ground which is a circular ground. So you have to draw a circle over here and we are going to write down the information over there. So draw a circle. That is, we are going to draw a circular ground. Okay. It's looking like a circle, yes. You can use your pro circles you have with you, yes. You have used for drawing Venn diagrams and everything. So just use it. Circle is going somewhat differently. Okay. Enough. You draw neatly a circle. Okay, have you drawn a circle, children? So whenever you come to a class, just keep all the instruments ready with you. All geometry boxes ready with you. Keep your pencils, keep your scales, everything with you. So that your class goes in, like what's that? Without any disturbance. Okay. So we have drawn a circle. Now see the information given to you. A pole has to be erected at a point on the boundary of a circular ground. So somewhere a pole has to be erected. You know the pole is. We may use the pole for some purposes. So what is their plan? They are going to erect a pole somewhere on the boundary. Now what is the boundary? The edge. Can you see this edges? This dark blue line is the boundary of the circular ground. So a pole has to be erected on the circular ground. So pole is going to be erected. And how will be the pole, children? what will be the angle of the pole? The angle of the pole will be always 90 degrees. So if you have seen any pole, you would have seen a hoisting of a flag. So whenever we hoist a flag, the pole will be there. Yes, or we just hoist the flag in the pole. That is, a flag will be hoisted in that. And just see the position of the pole. The pole will be exactly 90 degree. So it will be a 90 degree. So just you have to draw a straight line and you have to think, you have to imagine that is a pole. Okay, so you have a pole on the boundary of a circular ground. And what else is given to you? A diameter of 20 meter. That is, this circular garden has a diameter of 20 meter. So just draw a line. You know what is the meaning of diameter? A line that passes through the center of the circle and touches the boundary. So it touches the boundary and it also passes through the center of the circle. And the distance of, or the measurement of diameter is 20 meter. Okay. And they have given the diameter is 20 meter in such a way that the difference of its distance, the distance of its distance, that is difference of the distance from two diametrically opposite fixed gates P and Q is 4 meter. So you have your two fixed gates P and Q. So now what else you have to do? And what is the difference here? The difference is 4 meter. So it goes like this, from here to here. So you have two fixed gates. And what is the difference of these two distances? The difference of these two distances is 4 meter. I'll just put here PQ is there. So I'll take this as R, and I'll take this as X, and I'll take this distance as Y. So draw the figure. This is a pole. A pole is erected over here. A pole. And pole will be a 90 degree pole. Okay? 90 degree. So do not draw the figure with your own hands. You have to use a pro circle or you have to use a compass to draw the circle. Then use a scale to draw the diameters and also the poles and the remaining details. I hope you have drawn the figure. Okay, let's start with the condition. What is the thing you are going to find out here? You are going to find out, they are asking you, is the difference possible? Is they asking, suppose, can we erect a pole in such a manner? If it is so, if the answer is yes, at what distance from the two gates should be the pole erected? So they are asking, can we erect a pole? First of all, the question is, can we erect a pole? Okay. If we are able to erect a pole, at what distance the pole should be erected? So these are the two things we are going to answer. So we have just drawn a figure with the given information in the question. Now let's start our sum. They are saying that difference of the distances from two diametrically opposite fixed gates P and Q is 4 meter. So difference. Difference means we have to take bigger minus smaller. Here I don't know which is a bigger one and which is a smaller one. So I'm just taking as x minus y is equal to 4. I'll write here by the data or by the given condition. It's one and the same. By the data, x minus y is equal to 4. What is the difference of the two distance from the diametrically opposite pole, from the diametrically opposite gates? It's 4. So x minus y is equal to 4. Now I have told you that this pole will be always 90 degree. So when we have a 90 degree over here, we can use a Pythagoras theorem and we will get one more step. Let's see what we get when we apply Pythagoras theorem. So by Pythagoras theorem, okay, so we know the formula or we know the theorem. Suppose you have a right angle triangle and you have A, B, C. So this is a side containing the right angle, okay. A, B and B, C are the sides containing right angle. Sides containing right angle. And what about AC? AC is the hypotenuse side. Okay. So you have to remember these two parts over here. For a right angle triangle, the two sides that contains right angle. Okay, so AB and BC are the sides containing right angle, and AC, that is the side opposite to right angle, is the hypotenuse side. Similarly, let us find out the sides containing right angle here, and also let us find the hypotenuse side. So see here, yes, so PR and RQ are the sides containing right angle. Okay. What about PQ? PQ is the hypotenuse side. So let's apply the Pythagoras theorem. So first of all, you should know what are the sides containing right angle and also the hypotenuse side. So now what will be the theorem? AB square plus BC square is equal to AC square. Clear, children? Yeah, so what are the sides containing right? So write down here, AB square plus BC square is equal to AC square. Okay, done. So I am going to just apply the same theorem over here, and I am going to get the statement. What I will get here? Right angle sides, PR, RQ. I will write PR square plus RQ square is equal to, what is the hypotenuse side, children? Yes, PQ. So this is equal to PQ square. I hope you are clear with this two data information. By the data, I get x minus y is equal to 4, and since I know that the pole will be erected at a 90-degree angle, I am going to apply a Pythagoras theorem, and I am getting a statement over here. What's that? PR square plus RQ square is equal to PQ square. Clear, children? Okay, so now we are just going to substitute the values and we are going to proceed with our answers. Let's start the work. What is the value for PR given? What is PR given to you? From the figure, just tell me what is the value for PR? Yes, x. So put here x square. Okay. What is RQ? Y. Okay, done. Y square is equal to, what is PQ square? Good. 20 square. And just remember, children, one thing. Whenever we do a simplification or whenever we go for a quadratic expression, we deal with only one variable. Remember this, and remember this point. This is very, very important. We should not have two unknown variables. We need only one variable. Whenever you deal with a quadratic expression, we always deal with one variable. Okay. Here we have two variables. What are the variables? X and Y. So try to write as a one variable. So now what are we going to do is, I'll take here x, I'll just keep x as it is, and I'm going to take this y to that side. That is, from LHS I'm going to transfer to the RHS side. This is minus y, so minus y when it comes to the RHS, it turns to be plus y. So you get x is equal to 4 plus y. So what do you get? X is equal to 4 plus y. I hope you're clear. Okay, so now what are we going to do? We are going to change x. I have already got the value for x. What is the value for x? I am getting 4 plus y. So I'll write here 4 plus y the whole square. So wherever you have x, you are going to substitute as 4 plus y. So write this as, okay, yeah, I'll put in place of x, I'll write 4 plus y. So I get 4 plus y the whole square is equal to, not equal to, I have just replaced x. So what is left now? Plus y square is equal to 20 square. Now see the equation or see the expression, children. We have the expression with only one variable. What is the variable here? It's y alone. Yes. So this is what we need to solve a quadratic expression. I cannot solve this expression because it contains two variables. We have x and we have y. I cannot solve a expression with two variables. So I have to make it as a single variable. So I have changed x as y. That is, I have written the value for x in terms of y. What is the value? 4 plus y. Okay, done. Now let's go for the expansion. What is the formula for a plus b the whole square? Come on, tell me the formula. Yes, it's a square plus 2ab plus b square. What is the expansion of a plus b the whole square? A square plus 2ab plus b square. Okay. So let's expand it. A square. What is our a here? 4. What is our b here? Y. Okay. So 4 square. What is 4 square? 16. 4 fours are 16. 2ab. 2 into a into b. So 2 into 4, 8. 8 into y, 8y. See, 2 into 4 into y. So 2 fours are 8. 8 into y is 8y plus y square, b square plus y square is equal to, what is 20 into 20? You have written the squares, children, from 1 to 20. Yeah, what is the answer for 20 square? 20 square is equal to 400. Oh, so we have done the expansions. Now let's try to arrange the numbers and let's try to add the numbers and arrange the numbers. So I'll just write over here 16 plus 8y plus 2y square is equal to 400. That is adding y square and y square, I get 2y square. Okay children, so I'm going to write down as the form of expression ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. This is the form of expression. So let's try to write everything. That is, I don't want any numbers on the RHS part. I want here 0. So what I get here? 2y square is first. Okay, I'll write, first I'll take y square part. 2y square plus y, that is x, here I have y. So 8y plus 16 minus 400 is equal to 0. I hope you're clear with the step. I have just arranged everything properly. So I get y square plus 2y square plus 8y plus 16 is equal to plus 16 and is equal to 400 was there. So that 400 I am just bringing to the LHS part. So plus 400, when it comes to this side, it becomes minus 400. Solve 400 minus 16. What do you get? 84. 384. Yes, 384. So 2y square plus 8y minus. Plus minus is minus. Sign of the bigger number is minus. So minus 384 is equal to 0. Just going very slow, children. Understand the steps. So this, I hope you are clear with the steps. Here I have just added y square and y square. I am bringing all the terms on one side and making the RHS as 0. So I have simplified 16 and 400. So plus minus is there. So plus minus means minus. So 400 minus 16 gives you minus 304. 384. We have to write the sign of the bigger number. What is the bigger number? 400. What is the sign of 400? Minus. So what is the answer? Minus 384. Now just see carefully here. All the numbers are divisible by 2. 2 is divisible by 2. 8 is divisible by 2. And 384 is divisible by 2 because we have 4 over here. Yes. So let's divide by 2. So you get y square plus 4y minus 2 ones are 2, 9s are 2 2s are. So you get 192 is equal to 0. When you take 2 common here, the 2 goes to this side and it becomes 0. So no need to worry about the 2. So when 2 goes to RHS, it automatically turns to be 0. So y square plus 4y, you can just do the division over here, children. Divide 384 by 2 and just have the answers with you. So you get y square plus 4y minus 192 is equal to 0. Okay. Now we are going to apply a formula method over here and we are going to get the value for y. Yes. Here what is the variable used? The variable used is y. So I am going to write the formula as y is equal to. Stay down till there. We'll apply the formula. Okay, what is the formula used, children? What is the formula for quadratic? Yeah, what is the quadratic formula? Minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Let's repeat the formula once again. Minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Okay, so let's write down here what is the variable used. The variable used is y is equal to minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac upon 2a. So what is a here? A is 1. What is b here? 4. And what is c here? Minus 192. So write down here a is equal to 1. The coefficient of y square. What is coefficient of y square? 1. What is coefficient of b? 4. And what is coefficient of c? Minus 192. Let's substitute the values. Okay, so let's substitute the value. So you get y is equal to minus b. So minus 4 plus minus square root of, what is b square? 4 square minus 4ac. 4, 1, c. What is c? Minus 192 upon 2a. What is the value for a? 1. So 2 into 1. Let's simplify this, children. Minus 4 plus minus, what is 4 square? 4 fours are 16. Minus minus plus 4 into 192, 8. 9 fours are 36. 4 ones are 4 plus 3, 768 upon 2 ones are 2. Just going slow, children. Very simple thing. I have to find out the value for a, b, c from the expression. How you get the value for a? The coefficient of y square. What is with y square? Nothing. That means the coefficient is 1. Don't write 0. It is 1. Okay. What is the coefficient of y? 4. That is b. What is the coefficient of c? That is, what is the constant term here? It's minus 192. So write down minus 192. So you get minus 4 plus minus 16 plus 768. Okay, let's do the calculation further. I hope you have taken down all these parts there, children. So let's do the addition work and let's find out the square root work. So what do you get here? Y is equal to minus 4 plus minus. What is 768 plus 16? 14, 8, 7. Square root of 784 upon 2. Okay, you just do the rough work here, okay? I'll just 768 plus 16. 14, 8, 7. So minus 4 plus minus square root of 784 upon 2. Okay. Now we are going to find out the square root using a long division method. You have to show the long division method in your rough part. I don't want anyone to write the answers directly. So you have to show the calculations. So let's put a square root long division sign. 784. How to group, children? Go from the last 2, 2, 2, 2 and then whatever left. So here we have 2 and here 1. So that's 7, 8, 4. Okay, done. Now let's see what to do. What is the closest square to 7? The closest square to 7 is, yes, tell me, 1 ones are 1, 2 twos are 4, 3 threes are 9. 9 is more than 7. So I cannot take 9, I should take the smaller number then. 1 ones are 1, 2 twos are 4, 3 threes are 9. So don't take 9 because this is more than 7. So take 4. 2, 2, 2. 2 plus 2, 4. 2 twos are 4. 3. Take the two numbers together, the pair together, 84. Okay. What is the last number? 4. Okay. If the last number is 4, you have two choices. Tell me the choices. What are the choices, children? 2 2s are 4, 8 8s are 64. So you can multiply by 2 or you can multiply by 8. So 4 2 into 2, 4 8. I don't get. Let me try by 8. 4 8 into 8. 8 8s are 64. 4 8s are 32. 32 plus 6, 38. I can take 8. 8, 8, 8. Minus 384. 56, 0. What is the square root? 28. Let's write down the square root. I'll write here, therefore, y is equal to minus 4 plus minus 28 upon 2. Y is equal to plus minus 28 upon 2. Okay. Let me give the sign separately. So y is equal to minus 4 plus 28 upon 2 or minus 4 minus 28 upon 2. Minus 4 plus 28 upon 2 or minus 4 minus 28 upon 2. So what is minus 4 plus 28? 24 upon 2. Minus plus minus. So what is 28 minus 4? 24. What is the sign of the bigger number? Plus. So 24 upon 2 or minus minus plus. So what is 28 plus 4? Yes, 28 plus 4? 32. Okay, good. What is the sign, children? We have both the sign as negative. So take the sign as negative. So minus 32 upon 2. So y is equal to 12 or minus 16. So we got the value for y. What is the value for y? 12 or minus 16. 24 upon 2, 12. 32 upon 2, 16. That is minus 16. We never take minus 16 because we don't want a negative sign. We want only the sign as positive. So write down minus y cannot be minus 16 since distance cannot be negative. We cannot take the distance as negative. Right. Y cannot be minus 16 since distance cannot be negative. Okay, children? Okay. Now let's come to the next part. So we have found the value for y. Now we have one more thing to do. We have to find the value for x. Let's find out the value for x, children. I hope you have taken all the long division methods. You have to take down the long division method. Okay, so let's find out the value for x. Therefore, what was the condition for x, children? X is equal to 4 plus y is. So x is equal to 4 plus y. That's 4 plus 12. What is that? 16 meter. You put your y is equal to 12 meter. So write down the statement, final statement. What will be the statement? They are asking you the distance from the two diametrically opposite fixed gates P and Q. So is it possible to do so? If answer is yes, at what distance from the two gates should the pole be erected? So we can erect the pole. So let's write the answer. The pole can be erected. Write down here. The pole can be erected at a distance of 16 meter and 12 meter from AC and BC respectively. At a distance of 16 meter and 12 meter from AC and BC respectively. They were asking you, can you erect a pole? Yes, a pole can be erected at a distance of 16 meter and 12 meter from AC and BC respectively. AC means the value of X and BC means the value of Y. So just write down the sum. This is sum number 5. Okay, I hope you have taken down sum number 5. Let's go for the next question. I hope it's clear. Yes, children, you are clear with how to write the equation and also how to apply the formula and get the required answer. So whenever you apply the expression or whenever you write the expression, just keep in your mind that it should contain only one variable at a time. Two variables are not allowed. You have to change. Suppose you have two variables in the expression, you make it as a single variable. Clear, children? Okay. Now let's start with sum number 6. Read on the question. From a group of 2x square black bees, from a group of 2x square black bees, square root of half of the group went to a tree. Square root of half of the group went to a tree. Again, 8/9 of the bees went to the same tree. The remaining 2 got caught up in a fragrant lotus. How many bees were there in total? So what is the thing you are going to do? We are going to find out the total number of bees. Shall we go with the answer? So what is the detail given to you? So total number of black bees? 2x square. So from 2x square, how many bees are going to a tree? Square root of half of the group. Again, 8/9 of the bees went to the same tree. So again, so first is square root of half of the group goes and then 8/9 of the bees go to the same tree. The remaining 2 got caught up in a fragrant lotus. So only 2 bees were left. Okay. So let's see the answer part. Okay. So let's go with the answer. So do not waste your time. Let's start with sum number 6. So what is the total number of bees, children? First of all, total number of bees. Total number of bees is equal to 2x square. So totally 2x square bees were there. Okay. Now, how many bees went to the tree first? So number of bees that went to tree first. Okay, first. What is the condition for that? Understand the condition carefully, children. If you understand the condition, the sums are very, very easy. And this is an important question. This type of questions will be asked. Okay, so from a group of 2x square bees, the number of bees that went to the tree first, it's square root of, see the condition? Square root of half of the total bees. What is the total bees? 2x square. So square root of half of, what's that? Group, half of the group, that is 2x square. 2 gets cancelled. Square root of x square. Square and square root gets cancelled. So it is x. So number of bees that went to the tree first, it's square root of half of 2x square. That is half of the group. What is the group? 2x square. 2 gets cancelled. What is left? X square. So what is the square root of x square? The square root and the square goes off. And what is left? x. Now, first in this many bees have gone, yes children. Now again some bees are going to the tree. So, number of bees that went to tree again they are going again. So that is 8/9 of the group. 8/9. 1/2. What do you mean by 1/2? 1 upon 2. What is 2/3? If we have 2/3, how you write? 2 upon 3. So similarly, what is 8/9? It is 8 upon 9. So number of bees that went to tree again, 8 upon 9 into what? What are they saying? Into the group. What is the group? 2x square. This is equal to 16. 8 2s are 16 x square upon 9. Clear? So this is the conditions given to you. Total number of bees, 2x square. The number of bees that went to the tree first. So square root of half of 2x square. X square, that is x. Again that went to tree, 8/9 of the group. So 8 upon 9 into 2x square. 16 x square upon 9. Number of bees left out. Number of bees left is equal to 2. This many bees were caught up in a lotus, a fragrant lotus. They were not ready to go to the tree. So how many were got, or how many were left in the lotus? On the lotus, 2 were left out. So let's form a equation first of all. Let's see how to make an equation. Yes, I'll start from here. Okay. The sums are easy sums, only the thing is you have to think and make a statement. You have to form a statement. Once you make a statement, automatically the remaining part is easy. You know how to solve the quadratic equation. I hope you are clear with the methods. Okay. So total number of bees, let's make a expression over here. Total number of bees, 2x square. Okay. From 2x square, how many bees are going to the tree first? X. Okay. How many bees went again? Minus 16x square upon 9. So from a group, see total group, one group was here. Suppose a group of bees are here. So what happens first? So this is total is 2x square. So from 2x square, first how many are going out? X is going. Again how many are going out? 16x square by 9. Okay, so like this. So it just goes. And at the last, how many were left? Only 2 were left. So you have 2x square minus x minus 16x square upon 9 is equal to 2. I hope you are clear. Okay, suppose this is a lotus. That, oh, it's a lotus. Yes. Okay. Okay, we have a lotus. You are all artists, yes, children. So we have a lotus. Where it's called? Yeah. So lotus, we have so total number of bees on a lotus. Water should be there, yes. So out of 2x square bees, so total number of bees 2x square. So from 2x square by first how many trees, how many bees are going to a tree? So first x bees went first. Later on how many bees are going to the tree? 16x square upon 9. And what are they saying? How many bees are left? 2 are left. So you have to say from 2x square, x has gone, 16x square by 9 has gone, and only what is the thing left out? 2. Okay. So now let's solve the answer. I hope you are clear with the question. Yes, children? Okay. So let's do the multiplication and let's do the calculation. I'll just take the LCM. I'll get 18x square minus 9x minus 16x square upon 9 is equal to, so I'll do directly, is equal to 18. Do the calculation part. So you get 2x square minus x minus 16x square upon 9 is equal to 2. So I have just taken the LCM part. I get 18x square minus 9x minus 16x square is equal to 18. So try to bring everything on one side because you know the expression. You know that it is of the form ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So this is the form. Bring everything on one side. 18x square, or before that I know the answer for this. 18 minus 16. What is 18 minus 16? Good. 2x square minus 9x minus 18 is equal to 0. What we have? 2x square minus 9x minus 18 is equal to 0. Okay, children? Now, I am not going to use a formula method here. Since the numbers are small numbers, I am going to use a T method and I am going to get the answer. I have told you that you can apply any method that you are comfortable with. In the previous cases, we were having some bigger numbers, so I did not use the T method. Now, since the numbers are small, I am going to use a T method. I'll draw a T over here. Take the multiplication of the first and the last numbers. The coefficient of the first number and the constant number. So 18 2s are 36, 2 1s are 2, and here what's that? 8 2s are 16, yeah, I have written the answers here. 8 2s are 16, 2 1s are 2, and 3. So you get minus 36 minus 9. Okay? Minus 36 minus 9. Let's do the work. So let's write the factors of 36, children. I'll just draw the T table here so that I'll get some work for, so this is minus 36 minus 9. 36, please split 36. 1 36, 2 18, 3 12s are, 4 9s are. So 3 12 gives you 9, yes? Others we don't get the 9. So right here 3 12. The bigger number is mine. The sign is minus 9. So I put here minus. And one more thing. We have the coefficient for x square. So divide by 2. Divide by 2. What is the variable used? X. So x plus 3 by 2. This is 2 1s are, 2 6s are. X minus 6. X plus 3 by 2. X minus 6. Already we have done a lot of sums on T method. Yes, children? So you know how we get here 2. So we have a number 2 here, so we have to divide by 2. If you have the coefficient 1, we can just take the same number, no problem. So I get x plus 3 by 2, x minus 6 is equal to 0. So x plus 3 by 2 is equal to 0, or x minus 6 is equal to 0. Give for both. X plus 3 by 2 is equal to 0, or x minus 6 is equal to 0. So x is equal to minus 3 by 2, or x is equal to 6. So what is that? X is equal to minus 3 by 2 and x is equal to 6. We know that the number of b's cannot be negative. Write down here. X cannot be minus 3 by 2 because number of b's cannot be negative. Therefore, x is equal to 6. This is what we get the value for x-axis. But the thing is, you have to find out the number of b's. Therefore, number of b's is equal to, what is the first thing we took, first statement? Total number of b's, 2x square. So 2x square, 2 6 square, 2 into 36, 72. So what is the total number of b's? 72. So we got the answer. So how many b's were there? Totally 72 b's were there. Therefore, total number of b's were 72. 2. Okay, children? I hope you are clear with the sums. You have to understand the concept and you have to do. So we have completed 2 sums here, that is 5th and 6th. I want you to try the 8th sum and the 10th sum as homework. The remaining sums I'll be doing in the classwork. So your homework is sum number 8 and sum number 10 from exercise 3.12. So 2 word problems. Complete sum number 8 and sum number 10. Okay, children? So we stop over here. We'll be continuing with the remaining sums in the next class.